Here's something that's actually pretty inspiring about humans. It's something that doesn't happen very often, so when it does, it's nice to point it out. Along the trip here, the generosity of the other hikers has been unreal. I mean, I had zero bullshit with anybody except for some rich asshole at Lake Aloha that was not a backpacker. He was a rich guy. But, I mean, all the other backpackers have been crazy generous. I mean, the way I hike, I look at my Gut Hook app and shows me a map of where I'm going, if I'm doing any elevation changes, what that is, you know. And it has waypoints along the way, different things, crossing a dirt road or a road, or streams and lakes and views. I mean, view of Lake Tahoe, view of Twin Peaks and this and that. But I like to try and go 2.5 miles at a blast without setting my shit down. So I'll look ahead on the map 2.5 miles and look at what's involved in that as far as altitude changes and shit, and then, you know, try and get there before I have to stop and set my shit down, because old guys like me have to set their shit down now and then. But I'll get to one of those things like a stream or something like that, and it'll be not like a gathering spot there, but there might already be somebody there when I get there, so somebody to have a quick conversation with. You know, they complain about something or point out something that they saw, or I'll do the same, complain about something or point out something that I saw. But anytime I came to, if I had a complaint, you know, like being hungry or sore, or my blisters on my feet, or, I mean, I met the kid Toby from New Hampshire. Just an interesting as hell kid. The more I think about the short time I spent with that kid, it was a pretty interesting conversation. But he's by himself, going counterclockwise. And the spot where he was, he had been out for a while without being able to hit a store, because they were going to do it's halfway up the other side of Dick's Pass, on the Lake Aloha side of Dick's Pass, about halfway up. And I was complaining about wishing I had brought a couple of different things for food, because because I was starving all the time. I mean, dinner and lunch and everything was good, and I'm getting enough calories and everything, but I mean, it was like not enough. I was hungry all the time. And he reached at the bottom of his bag. He had it's like a little net thing that stretched tight to the bottom of his bag, so he could stash stuff in there and be able to access it easily without having to drop his pack. And he pulls out this bag that, I don't know, holds about an ounce of weight probably, but it's chock full of dried up fruit and a couple of different kind of nuts. And he says, "Here, have some of this." I said, "No, I'm not taking your food." He says, "No," he says, "Trust me, I have a couple huge Ziploc bags of the exact same thing inside my pack. Go ahead, have all you want." And that just blew me away. He keep giving me his food. I took a couple of pieces of mango and a piece of coconut, another thing, I don't even know what it was, but it was freaking delicious. But I didn't want to take too much. This is this kid's food. And then last night we were sitting around the fire, and I had mentioned that that CVS didn't really have the bandaging I was looking for my blisters. I got one on the heel of my left, around the heel of my right, and one between my big toe and the ball of the foot on my left. But they had something that I ended up buying that seems to be working. My feet don't really hurt that bad, and they're to a point, I believe, that they are not getting any worse. So you know, I'm good, you know. But I mentioned that last night at the fire that I passed it already. That was it. It's an abandoned road. So I'm gonna sit right here and take my break. But I mentioned that I wish they had a blister kit like that thing Mark brought me, because that was badass kit. Had all pre-cut moleskin and these weird gel-filled bandages you're supposed to put on the blister instead of popping it. They actually will turn any of the liquid that comes out of your blister. You put that band-aid on there and it will pop your blister, and any of the liquid that comes out of it will turn it to gel and make like a antiseptic gel bandage over your blister and help it heal better, not hurt. But there was, in that kit that Mark brought me, there was one big one and one smaller one. And like I said, I have 2 blisters, so I used that. That was a week ago almost. But it only had 2 of those gel things, but it had a few bandages. So I have had bandages, but we got to Tahoe City and I needed more. I mean, I was running out. And I mentioned that in that derby. She was on her way to her damn tent to go grab me bandages. I said, no. I'm going home in a couple of days. I'm going to be fine, you know, and I do have enough of what I did buy to get me through. So keep your stuff, because that kid has 1,500 miles to go. And here she's offering to give me her bandages and stuff. You know, those are just a couple of examples of that. Ryan, who has sent me a friend request on Facebook, thankfully, I look forward to watching his adventures, because he seemed like a pretty interesting dude. I mean, he was going through a little bit of a conflict when we were talking, but the conflict that he was having was something that made him seem interesting enough. I mean, that was, most people have problems like that. They don't even notice it. You know, it just rolls right past them. But he actually was absorbed in it enough that he was going to bow out of the trail for a little while and check it out. And we were talking. I had suggested, or not suggested, I just said that one of the most beautiful places I had ever seen was the California coast from like Bodega Bay north. And he said he thought he might actually go take that drive and then see where his head was at. But I mean, you gotta just want somebody to talk to. They're all generous that way. They're giving me food, bandages, or not doing it but offering to. I mean, I had more than one person trying to feed me, and I was just saying I'm hungry, not that I'm out of food. You know, that's how these people are. It's a pretty cool community, man. I'm glad I got to be a part of that PCT group for a couple of, or not part of it, but around them for the few days that I was. That was pretty neat there. Met some really neat people that way. All right, well, I'm at a good spot to stop here, take a break, have a snack, brag about how far I've gone so far today. Anya's just getting started, and I am 3.7 ahead of her. So that means she'll catch me by about 1 or 2. I don't know. I'm stomping a lot better than I was the last time she caught up to me. A lot better. I mean, I just went 3.7 without, well, actually, I went 3 without setting my pack on, because I did that last water fill up was 0.8 in actually. So it's been 3 miles since then without stopping and setting my pack down one time. So I mean, that's twice the distance I was covering before that without having to drop my pack. I mean, I was going every mile and a half. Have to set it down, even if it's just for 3 minutes. I mean, I would set my timer on my phone. 3 minutes.